Yes, guys, today we're going to be speaking to Andrew Leese. Andrew Leese is a social media guru for DJs. In this conversation, we're going to be speaking about how to go full time as a DJ producer and what those steps look like, how you can use your personal brand and your audience to go full time as an electronic musician.
G'day, Mr. Andrew. How are you?
Very well, mate. Thank you. How are you?
Beautiful. Good to speak to you again, bro. It's been a long time. When was you last on Trackstack? Do you remember? You've
I
been on
did
quite a few
something
times.
with I did something with George and Cameron in the London
Mm.
a while
Oh, yeah.
ago.
Okay, yeah.
And then obviously I'd done the stuff with Andrew Azara on the
Yeah, yeah.
live before studio started, and it was kind of like, let's test
Mm.
this. Let's have an
Yeah.
idea, bring me into Trackstack and stuff. And I've done a couple of these social media posts with you, which I've always
Yeah,
done
yeah.
quite well.
Yeah. I think I've seen your repivot to unfiltered. So maybe just to get started with this conversation, like who you are. Obviously, I know you from Socially Sound, working with Trackstack, but you've kind of rebranded to unfiltered. I'm super familiar with that, and I really like what you're doing with it. It's really unique, I would say. I've not seen anybody else in the industry doing that. But yeah, maybe just intro yourself and what Unfiltered is and who it serves.
Sure, yeah. So my name's Andrew Leese. I've been in the game for 12 and a bit years. I'm originally from Stoke-on-Trent, which has obviously got like a huge musical heritage, but before my time. Um, Basically, last 10 years, like I've gone from all aspects of marketing and social, from moving to Ibiza with a music blog that was mine, which kind of like we built a very pre-era when it was only like share a landscape Instagram photo,
Yeah.
and our websites were still gold and golden, to working for Plex, Archie Hamilton in the last 4 years after COVID. But then I moved to Ibiza when I was 24 or 25 with the opportunity to write for a Pulse. And then that kind of got me into social media. It was kind of like a thing.
Nice.
I was more of a journalist then than a social person now. But like the whole evolution of it has gone from like just being literally, I'll do anything. I'm
Mm.
a writer. I'll review anyone. I'll interview anyone. To now like being probably like marketing director level,
Yeah, yeah.
where um maybe marketing manager level, marketing director level, where like 360 approach to marketing.
Yeah, yeah. I think that I really like your kind of approach to the DIY marketing, which is something that Trackstack are really like we're stepping into Trackstack 2.0 by the end of the year, and one of our core brand positioning pillars is the DIY approach, and that is basically what you like kind of own and what you like drive home with your entire positioning with Unfiltered.
Yeah.
So based on that, I mean, the point of this conversation is just to give aspiring artists and artists in any kind of stage of their career a kind of simplified roadmap of how to go full time as a DJ producer. It's like the holy grail of like, how do I do this? It's so vague. I think you've broke it down very well. You sent me a PDF. I think you did a live webinar last week. Can people access that anywhere or?
Yeah. So if they like, I have a ManyChat bot. If you send
Mhm.
me the word workshop into a DM, it will
Okay,
send it
you'll
to
get
you
that.
automatically. But then obviously just the link in my bio on Instagram, you can find the workshop.
Yeah, I'd highly recommend people read that PDF. I read it this morning. If you're an aspiring artist and you want like just a fucking very digestible marketing approach, like simplified, just reference that. We'll go through this approach in this call. So, would you like to dive into the intro for that? So maybe the hotel analogy of artists getting into the music business and how they can think of that.
Sure, yeah. So it's called the Never Ending Hotel, and it was presented to me by Matt Tolfree, who is an absolute legend in this scene. Unfortunately, passed away in October, and I have to say that that's left a huge hole in my life.
Mm,
Like, so with it being November, being Mental Health Month for men, like it felt like a really good time to kind of tribute Matt on that,
nice.
bring it in, and just kind of bring it into my like wheelhouse, you could call
Hmm.
it. So Matt introduced the Never-Ending Hotel to me and he explained it to me like this, right? We all start on the ground floor and the Never-Ending Hotel goes a million floors down and a million floors up, which Simon Cowell sits at the top. And then someone like Ricardo Villalobos or Cassius Dead, who are so anti-media, anti-marketing,
Mm,
they live at the bottom. But sometimes to meet Ricardo Villalobos, who is a very famous DJ, and you can't get to him very easily, right? You have to go up 50 floors up. You might have to go to Cocoon,
mm,
live in Ibiza for 5 years, get to know Cocoon, get to know the team, and then maybe you meet Ricardo.
Mm.
So like I met Ricardo at Time War, which you would say is the underground techno party of the last 25 years. But sometimes you have to go on 10 floors down to meet the person that's going to go such and such. So it was Macia Plex's former agent who I used to work with that goes, "Who do you want to meet?" And I was like, "Ricardo." And she's like, "Okay, cool, I'll introduce you." So I got a
Nice.
photo, like with like not a pose photo, but my friend took a photo of me and Ricardo having a conversation in a booth. I've
Nice.
had to go up to so many different floors and so many other corridors and all of
Mm.
these things that you imagine a hotel because the music industry isn't a building. It's not like a huge building that lives in London. Go in there, right now you're in the music industry. It's not HSBC. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
It's a never-ending hotel that goes up and down. It's underground and commercial. Call it whatever
So
you want.
for someone navigating that, I really do like that analogy. I've never heard someone use that kind of concept of obviously underground and then commercial because the
Yeah.
electronic music industry is very commercial or underground.
Yeah.
So what would you say so for someone stepping into this new paradigm or like aspiring as an artist and they're like, okay, like relationships are what are going to progress your career for the most part. For someone that is going into the hotel, let's use the analogy of the hotel.
Mhm.
What's the best strategy? So I think in your PDF you've wrote the elevation strategy. So, either taking the lift or taking the stairs. So would you be able to
Yeah.
break that down?
And I think that depends what you want to do, right? Like I
Mm,
didn't come into music and go, right, I'm going to listen to the most obscure rare records, right?
Mm.
It's just not how it starts. Swedish House Mafia 1 changed my life, right? Dead Mel Strobe, those tracks. So it's
Big
like, right,
tune, big tune.
those tracks, if you acknowledge it, I'm going upwards first. I've gone up the
mm,
stairs, I've gone to Milton Keynes Ball or to Warehouse Project, and I've seen Dead Mouse and Swedish House Mafia. And I'm not doing that because I like underground music. I don't even know the difference at that point. But like, let's say I started by going up, and everyone starts by going up. And then when you start to work this out and you discover the biceps and you discover all of
yeah.
these, you're like, oh, going down now. So you've got a choice at the beginning, right? And I think
hmm
everybody starts ground floor, stairs or lift. Am I going up? Am I going down? So at 18, I think when me and you were probably similar ages.
Mm,
18, I was into the Chili Peppers, I was into Oasis, the Stone Roses, people like that, right? That's going upwards. Oasis were the
hmm
biggest band in the world. So you're going upwards, right?
Yeah.
You're going into a world where literally it's like a movement, but it's
Mm,
upwards. So you've got
nice.
a choice. And when you go to these things, you're in a room, whether that room is a 70,000 capacity festival or
hmm
whether that room is a 250 pack club and you're listening to Oasis on your Friday night instead of like someone's DJing it and you're playing singing to Wonder with your mates,
Mm,
right? You all start somewhere. You enter your first room. So wherever you do in that room, you've got a choice how long you stay in it. Are you staying in that room
mm,
because your friends are there, or are you staying there because you're curious and you want to go next door on your own? That
Yeah.
might be walking into a record store on a Tuesday afternoon going, oh, that's a record store. Should we go in there? Or let's go in there. You've got this
Mm,
choice, right? So I think it depends on what your kind of childhood education is, however old
hmm
you are. And if you're 30 and you're stepping into the music industry, you might go downwards.
mm,
That might be Farnica and going and buying a Carlo Villalobos record because you've heard him and gone, I want that record on vinyl.
nice.
I mean,
And
so I think it, go on.
so with the elevation strategy and once someone is aware of like, okay, like, let's say you're in your 20s or you're in your 30s and you're like, okay, this is the sound that I'm into. This is the sound. Maybe they can see a trend that is happening and they're like, okay, I can capitalize on that, but in my own way, I can take elements of that trend and I can spin it in my own way and I can move forward like in that way.
Yeah,
How could someone strategically use that for like in relation to the DIY approach? Because I think what you're saying is really
yeah,
important. Where you need to understand where you're going. You can't just aimlessly
yeah,
fucking float around and just hope for the best.
yeah. Well, I
Um,
think you start by aimlessly floating around and then you work out,
yeah, yeah.
right? So I would encourage you, someone watching this, I would encourage you to float around. Go into as many rooms as possible. Go into as many clubs as possible. I remember the first going time to go to DC-10. And I remember
Mm,
walk into the back, which is where the DJ booth used to be. You have to walk into the
mhm.
back. And I remember thinking, oh my God, there's so many people here.
So rammed.
So many, so around. You got to navigate yourself from the back to the front. So sometimes walking into a bar is intimidating.
Mm,
Sometimes walking into a room is intimidating. And you've got a couple of choices. Are me and my mates going to stick together, go front left, and try and get the bottle of water and not move and get crushed? Or are we going to go, should we try room two?
Yeah, okay.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
That's just a really good analogy. There's two rooms of DC-10. Oh, the
Was
terrace is where our favorite DJ is playing, but it's mates round in here. Should we go in? Who's in room two? There's a really good analogy there of just go
yeah.
try the room next door.
That
Like,
curiosity component of
yeah,
like, yeah,
be curious. So if you, at the beginning you're curious, but if you're really dialed in now and you know where you want to go, you're making tech house, you want it to be played by these DJs, simply start by just going to their parties.
okay.
That is a really step their room, you and me, Chris Stussy, whatever it is. If you're that into that, which is where a majority of Trackstack users probably are now,
Yeah.
like if you like that, then go and try. Go into a, oh, but then you can go and see Chris Stussy in London, but you can also go and see him in Prague.
Yeah. Different scene.
There's there's a completely different scene. Like there's nothing better than being at ADE and finding a party where you're the only English people.
Yeah, but I love Dutch raves. My favorite raves on the planet. They're
Yeah.
just different.
So I think it's if you're on that point where you're on a dance floor but you're learning how to DJ at home and you've got a music studio and you're just learning that, just be so curious that you go and find rooms that you go. Like I remember discovering Tom Trago at DC-10. The Martinez brothers playing. It was my birthday.
Mm.
It's rammed in there, and I was like, "Should we go try Tom Trago?" I can't remember if that DJ set was any good or if it was amazing, but like, it was. Should we just go try the other room? And I think it's just that analogy of you never know who you're going to meet in another room.
Mm. Yeah. And how could that translate into the DIY marketing approach? Because as an artist myself, I 100% resonate with the curiosity component because if you
Mm.
like good creativity is just boundary pushing. Like you push boundaries and that comes from curiosity.
Yeah.
So in terms of an artist, like let's say what you just the analogy you just gave of like, okay, I want to make tech house, or let's say someone wants to make minimal house or this stussy sound. Let's say they've identified that, okay, this is the room that I want to step into. What is the next step in terms of them utilizing that in their marketing approach?
So it starts with there's two parts to this, right? There's the in real life marketing, which is you're in a room, you've met person, you've met
Hmm.
someone at a bar, they smile at you, they say hello, what's your name? Very, very simple approaches. Don't have to tell them you're a DJ or anything like that. Why are we in Ibiza? You and your mates, that can be a place, right?
Yeah.
But you've got a little bit further than that, and you've done that 100 times in 100 different places, 93 for East. Eventually, you'll say, right, I've got 1,000 Instagram followers now or I've got
Mm.
2,000 Instagram followers. I've been known in these places. Maybe you'd want to try your own party. So then there's the real life section of going, I like this, I'm into this, I'm making music now. You've got a couple of choices. Am I going all in on production, which is probably where a majority of people are now?
Yeah.
Where, or, say 10 years ago, it was like me, four mates, we're going to put a grand in each and we're going to start a party.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is literally you and me, Gaskin bass
Yeah.
jams, Elliot and with Appetite. I literally with Appetite and LP Rhythm, who was part of Bass Jams. That is the next generation of the Fuses, the Abodes, the Paradises, the Musicons, etc., etc., etc.,
Mm.
etc. Right, the drum code. So they all start there. So you've got the DIY approach of, I would honestly recommend, and even though it's absolutely really hard at the moment to sell tickets, the sooner you can get a party started, you three
Yeah.
mates, four mates, that building a brand, to me, you learn how to book a DJ, you're learning how to market a DJ, you learn how to market yourselves, you're learning how to deal with a club, you're learning how to lose money, and I say that we
Yeah.
have to learn how to lose money
Yeah.
to make money,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
100%.
DIY. Number one is there. You can build the next, there will always be space for the next bass jams in this scene.
Yeah.
It is literally the blood that the scene runs with, or however that
Yeah.
works.
There was a
So
great
that's what,
segment. There was a great segment from you. I remember actually I was on the flight from the UK to Thailand, 2023 September, and I think the first episode, I wasn't working with Trackstack then, but I was seeing them doing podcasts, and they had you on. I think the first ever like interview podcast, and you spoke about creating your own scene. And I'd
yeah,
never heard anybody like reference that, like, because we all know of scenes, like,
yeah,
we all know of the different scenes around the world, but it's like to go somewhere and like, because that's what creating your own party is, you
yeah,
and a bunch of mates or, everyone's tapping into the network, bring a plus one, bring a plus two. And then obviously you as the DJ or whatever, you create the vibe and then you just, people want to have a party. People want to have a vibe at the end of the day. People want to come together and all and have that experience together. I think that is slept on a lot is pop-ups and creating your own party. It is intimidating. Like,
Yeah,
there's a lot of moving parts.
especially
Like,
now. Yeah. I think
yeah.
especially now, like a scene, like you can throw a blanket over the tech house scene right now. You've got maybe in the Max Dean, which is a little bit deeper house, Christosi, etc. over there. You've
Mm.
got BB, which is the very tech house. Then you've got the Spanish version of tech house with the belt shop,
Yeah.
where Solid Cruz lives majority of the time.
Yeah.
And then you've got the German version of it, the American version of it, where it might be a little bit more big stage, John Summit. Like you can throw a blanket over that right now. And someone like
Mm.
Ketterman be able to go, I'm going to go over here and I'm just going to
Yeah.
and you've been able to fit in, like Screaming Benga have come back and made dubstep. Is dubstep going to be the sound of 2026? Maybe. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? And that who saw that coming a year ago? Nobody, right? So I think sounds change, scenes change, but really the benchmark is Jamie Jones, Marco Cole have been in that scene for 15 years.
Yeah.
Benchmark, right? And that you can step into it on a small scale, and you can actually step into it on a larger scale eventually. And there's a great analogy by Brian Eno, who's like the guy that taught Fred again music, and he's the king of ambient, created ambient. And he talks about genius, which is
Mm.
collective genius, individual geniuses, and then a scene that happens with that collective genius. And if you look at
Mm.
90s hip hop, that is the biggest example of a genius. You got East Coast and West Coast, Tupac and Biggie, two other sides of America that needed each other, built a
Mm.
scene into both of them that ended awfully, you know, like,
Yeah.
but that scene created J-Lo, Ashanti, Jennifer Lopez, Ashanti, Faith Evans, Diddy, Nas, all of those people, whether they were the beginners of it or Diddy signed those guys, like, do you know what I mean? That is
Yeah.
the biggest genius that's ever happened. Right now in Tech House, you could honestly say since 2012, 15, where Deep House exploded with Jamie and Hot Nature,
Yeah.
Plex, all of that, we're still in that genius.
Yeah.
That 10 years, 15 years is literally me at 36 to someone at 18.
Yeah.
And there's Disclosure in there, there's Rudimental in there, there's Annabelle England. Do you know what I mean? There's so many names in there. MK, like
Yeah.
probably part of a scene before this one, come back into this one. So like a scene is like, how do you step into it?
Mm.
You can step into it as a raver, which everyone does. You go to Circle Loco, you go to Thailand to Circle Loco, and you're like, I'm in this now, I like this. And then you start thinking, how do I get into this? And it's basically you've got three choices: become a DJ, build a record label, or build a brand.
Mm.
You got three choices. You can't do all of them at once because who has the money?
All the
But you
time.
can, over 10 years, have a career that has all three.
Okay, I do like that approach of I was speaking to Andrew Zara about this the other day. Like not being impatient, but also like understanding what the components are. So like the trifecta of what you just said then, like understanding you can do them individually. Like, and obviously a lot of artists and DJs can just look at the big guys and be like, oh, like Jamie Jones has all these, he has his parties, label, his personal brand. It's like, I need to do that. It's like Jamie's been doing
Yeah.
this for like 2 to 3 decades. Like he's put in the work.
Yeah.
Um, I think like for someone that's out to the majority of our consumer and probably the most people that you work with Unfiltered, what stage would you say they're in? It's usually, I would say, the 3 to 5 year stage, or like
Yeah. So
2 to 5.
I like to just simplify it and go 0 to 10.
Mm,
If zero is the very first day that you're picking up some decks or listening to music and Elton John's 10, where are you?
mm.
Because let's
I
be
like
honest,
that. Yeah,
if Elton John, Stone Roses, these icons are there at 10, then don't even put yourself higher than a one or a two.
yeah,
Probably a zero point 0.6, right?
yeah,
And you can be really honest with people on that. Like, let's put Jamie Jones at a 6,
yeah, yeah,
right? He's not Elton John levels, he might be to some people, but like, we're talking about the people that are the very top
yeah, yeah,
are
yeah,
there. And then you've got music artists who actually the majority of the world have never heard of.
yeah,
Everyone's heard of Elton John,
yeah.
right?
True, true.
So it's like the majority of these artists, whether they're like, talking deep house commercialism or whatever like that, right? The majority of the people on the street have never heard of your favorite DJ, which is
Yeah,
exactly the point.
yeah,
So I would say that most people I work with are in that 1 to 2 level, 0 to 1, 1 to 2 level, where they know what they've got the skills, they're learning other skills, but then what they have to learn, I always say that like if you've got DJ and production skills, great, but you need communication skills and leadership skills to be a DJ.
Communicate. Let's
If you
dive into that because I
if,
think maybe
if you can't talk, if you
yeah,
can't talk and you can't lead, you
you fucked
can't
it.
build a brand or build a
Yeah,
business in
yeah,
2026
yeah,
or five. So
yeah,
you have to, but you develop those skills. You can be the shyest kid in the world. Like, are we saying that Ben UFO has communication and leadership skills? Maybe he actually has them more than you realize, but because he's not flooding TikTok with voices, like that, you think, well, of course he has. He's made it where he's got to. But then the further you go in, if you can't network, if you can't understand how to be booked and you can't understand how to get your music to people, communication skills is writing an email better than the email that you sent a year ago.
yeah.
Just
Is
something
it,
as simple as
yeah,
that. If you're still sending the same email template that you did a year ago, well, you're using Trackstack and you're still sending tracks the same way you did a year ago, there's still a reason why you're not being signed.
yeah.
And it's not,
It's that I think there's a self-reflection component as well. Like, there's the problem that I find with a lot of like aspiring, even just people in any industry, people are just so unaware. It's like we get a lot of complaints at Trackstack of like, oh, my tracks are being declined. Why is this person like? Why is people not like signing my tracks? So why do I keep getting declined? Like, you need to ask yourself that question, not like
yeah,
us, because it's like if you can't reflect on that question and you don't have the self-awareness to ask yourself, why are my tracks getting declined? Okay, they don't like
yeah,
them. Why don't they like them? Okay, maybe let me compare it to this, I don't know, Paradise or sorry, this Hot Creations release. Let me check that out. Okay, it night and day, it's just sonically shit compared to that one. Okay, so maybe the mix down is shit, maybe the mastering is shit.
yeah.
The
But
idea is not there.
that communication of like most artists I'm working with are making tracks to 60%.
Okay.
They've got the skills to make tracks to 60%. They think they're done.
Mm,
Actually, most of the time,
right.
whenever I hear people comparing that they've worked with Burnski or they've worked with these guys at professional mix downs, most of the time people take stuff out of the tracks to make it sound better than they do put things in the tracks, which is a really good analogy of what can I take out here that isn't working?
Yeah.
Is it making it too messy? Is it making it too
Yeah.
that? So like something as simple as that, but then that's the ear. Some people have the ear and some
Mm.
people learn to have the ear and train and build to have the ear.
Yeah.
Whereas like I think the majority of artists are sending out 60% unfinished like tracks that they think are good. DJs are downloading them and going, yeah, I'll play this, but then they're listening to it on a proper speaker and they go, I'm going to download this and keep an eye on this kid. And I think
Yeah.
George said this on a really interesting thing on what you do with the momentum skill on Trackstack, where
Mm.
you've sent out this many tracks, you're building momentum. That's a measurable thing that people aren't thinking about. And I love that. And I think it's
Mm.
the same with social. You
Nice.
build momentum by doing it over and over again. And if you continue to get 1,000 views on TikTok, then you need to improve something.
Okay.
It's not TikTok's fault. You can
Mm.
shout and blame the algorithm all you want, but the TikTok algorithm is controlled by people. And if people don't engage, then you need to keep doing better.
Yeah.
And I don't mean there's a little person controlling whether this is going to go on or not. It's a physical user going scroll past, or watch 3 seconds of that. The audio's terrible, scroll past. That's a metric that people go, oh, it's just the algorithm. Fuck the algorithm. Whereas
Yeah. Yeah.
actually, it's you that needs to make your video
To
content better
improve.
to
Yeah.
improve
Yeah.
it. And that's the same
Yeah.
as learning how to put tracks together. And people don't quite people look at me like I'm crazy when I compare production and video content created
It's the
together.
exact same thing,
So
bro.
similar. So
100%.
similar.
Bro, it's like
You're rubbish at it at the beginning, and you learn,
yeah, yeah.
and you
It's
improve your audio, and then you improve your visual, or that. Do you know what I mean?
yeah. Well, I like to look at your content as an example on like even just that PDF you sent. Just like the thing is with your branding and unfiltered. It's very like simple, but it
Simple.
works.
Yeah.
You see, it works so well. Even just the font and the coloring, like the contrast between the colors, like it doesn't. It's like the best art is so simple. The best music. If you fucking go and find your favorite track, get it in. Like it's less than 20 stems, if that. Like it's not 100. Like when I started making beats in the beginning, I was like, I have 80 to 100 channels. There's no reason for you to have. That's why you mix down shit. Because you've got
Yeah.
this like, imagine if you're cooking a bolognese and you just throw 80 different spices in it.
Every spice in you.
Like
You
it's
only
just,
you only need three spices sometimes
yeah,
to make a.
it's ridiculous. But yeah, so with maybe this will bring us on nicely to the next topic of the conversation. So this idea of industry truths and industry lies. So based on the DIY approach, so for someone that is in the music industry and they have these preconceived ideas or notions of like, oh, I need to do this and this is the path of me and this is how I get success.
Yeah.
You'll know a lot of these bottlenecks and all these people like, or your clients asking you like, I should do this, and you're like, no, 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 you're gonna do this. What are some
Yeah.
of those lies that people think they need to go down or do that just isn't the way anymore?
Well, I identified three lies, or I asked when I did the workshop live, I identified these three lies, which ones you believe and which ones you don't. The first one was built around do artists need labels anymore? Because it's been notoriously thing that an independent artist
Yeah.
right now have more power than majors for the first time ever, right?
Mm.
The independent artists are still releasing on labels that you don't even know exist on by majors,
Mm.
right? Or they are now becoming like you cannot call Disorder, Armada, Defected. They are in that label very just under the top three,
Yeah.
right? They have budgets now where they are throwing music out there with big budgets, using TikTok creators. They've got YouTube channels with 60 to 60,000 subscribers now. I would generally say that artists right now leave labels more than they did before COVID. Just my personal
Mm.
opinion. Building your own label now, if you haven't got an audience, is actually really hard.
Mm.
It's actually, I think there was a movement. If you've built the label off the back of COVID and you've now got a 3 to 4 year record label, sure, you can now say that you're an
Mm.
independent artist and you didn't, but you needed something, right? So I think artists generally need to start, they need to reset a little bit and they need to
Mm.
actually go, yeah, I actually do need my first release to be on a label
Yep.
because you've got 100 SoundCloud followers, you've got this, you do need to go. And then I think it's that vote in confidence to say, got my music on a label. Just worked with an artist called Joe Thomas, just got his first ever track on a VA and he's
Nice.
buzzing. He's
Gassed.
buzzing, absolutely gassed, right? And that's amazing. His sisters, his biggest fan, his parents now see the work he's doing at the back of his
Fire.
the back of their garden, and what you could call a shed or an outer house. He's in there every night, man. I love that. He's just got his first that 2.5 years of work
You need that.
results in this. You need that as an
Yeah.
artist, right?
Yeah.
So
Mentally.
whether we do the big top artists need major labels and maybe not, but they need publishing companies, not record labels. And I
Mm.
identified what a publishing company is in the workshop, and everyone was like, face when the comments in the chat when you all of a sudden go, what? Like I was like, yeah, like Sony is a publishing company. You think
Yep.
it's a record label, it's a publishing company. They're behind the Beatles,
Yeah.
right? Do you know what I mean? They know what they're doing over there. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
They've got money.
So
Lots of
they've
it.
got that. They've got experience. They've got people that have been in the scene 20 years. They know how to break an artist at a certain level, right? So that's one of them. I generally will stand by this and go, artists need labels.
Hmm. Nice.
The second one is that promoters are only interested in followers,
Mm-hmm.
right? I think everyone believes that, right? I can't
Yeah.
convince anyone that, but I'm going to try, right? Promoters are interested in partnerships.
Mm.
If that comes with followers, which is what I break down the workshop into, which we'll go into in a minute, right? Promoters need partnerships. So when you see where Rossi is right now, and you've got his brand building, there's a partnership between Rossi and promoter
Hmm.
or festival promoter, whatever it is, right? There's now a position where they've got enough leverage to go, we've got data, we've got audience, we've got the songs, we've got the fan base. We're now in a position to go, yeah, we can do a circus now.
Mm.
Are you ready to do circus? No.
Yeah.
Are you ready to do a warehouse at that level? No. So stop complaining that these DJs are the ones being booked because they're ready to do that at that level now, and they've worked really freaking hard to get
Yeah. Yeah.
there, right. So stop complaining that people only book DJs not on
Yeah.
talent. They book them because they have something to offer.
It's a business at the end of the day.
Yeah,
One of my boys, Mark, he works for the Warehouse Project, Artist Liaison and JBM. Um, if you don't sell tickets, Like
Yeah,
you're not going to make like if you're a business owner and like you want people to come into your business, you need a way to get them in. So it's like
yeah.
if you want to put somebody on that no one knows, it's like people are not going to come in. So it's like you just made a loss. Like businesses
And
are not in
I,
the business of making losses.
and I
Like
think this is, I said this in the workshop as well. Like, if you, this is when the chat exploded as well. And I think it was like, I realized I was like, oh shit, that hit. If you've got nothing to offer, you will get no offers.
basically, yeah, I'm gonna write that down.
And that's harsh. And there's a reason why my business is called Unfiltered now, because I've got enough knowledge to drop that.
Mm,
That
mm,
might drop, right? And people go, shit, right? It's true. And it's put that in big words on the thumbnail of this video. If you've got no
yeah,
offers, if you've got nothing to offer, you'll get no offers,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
And people are
Facts.
realizing now, oh, that's why these DJs are being booked now. Yeah, they've got streams, but the whole reason you're doing DJ, becoming a DJ, the whole reason you're learning how to produce, right? Of course, there's an art to it. I'm never going to take that away from it. But if you're not looking at the career in 15 years and 10 years and going, I'm going to sell tickets,
Yep,
then you're probably looking at it in a really naive way.
yep, yeah,
That is the reality of what you're doing. You're learning how to DJ, learning how to produce. Sure, you want to learn the skill. Sure, it's an amazing time to spend 16 hours of your week if you want to go really into it and you're passionate about it. But reality is, when you get to a point when you're meeting me, is can you sell tickets?
yeah,
And that is the harsh breakdown of what majority of artists can't do
yeah. I think
because
because
they've never even tried.
yeah, they
That's
never.
the thing about it. I'll sit to you and go, have you even tried to sell tickets? And that's when you learn.
Yeah,
That's when you
yeah.
really learn why an audience is so valuable, which is the
Mm,
next step of the workshop, right? That's when you realize that the audience that you're building right now by sharing the TikTok, by sharing the little preview on TikTok, is you are building an audience to showcase your skills, with the end goal being tickets.
mm.
And that's why everyone's being booked. And I can't remember what the third one was.
Yeah, let me just get the PDF up. I
But
really do
yeah,
like that. The yeah, 'cause you're kind of like when you're saying these things to me, I'm kind of like reflecting on them from my naive, like younger producer version of
yeah,
me. And I remember I was
yeah,
just like, bro, I never forget. I did a music production degree in SSR in Manchester near Piccadilly Station. It's called Spirit Studios now. And I never forget when I was like before going to that, like I think 17, 18, I was sat in bed and I was like, I want to go to this university degree when I make a track and it'll get played on the radio and then I'll be a DJ. Like
yeah.
what the fuck?
What a
Like
lovely little pipe dream that
it's just like
is.
it's so stupid. And you just like when you get into it, you're like, oh, it actually takes a long time to learn how to produce music. It's like once you learn
Yeah,
to produce music, it's like, okay, now I'm making shit music. And it's like, how can I make music that is
yeah,
doesn't sound like BB? Like it's like, yeah, I think that concept of selling tickets is something that a lot of producers and DJs sleep on because
yeah,
like you can make bro, you can make the best tunes ever. You can fucking put them on your SoundCloud, put them wherever. No one hears them. No one gives a
yeah,
shit about them.
yeah.
Promoters don't look at your beats and go, "Oh, I like that tune.
Right.
We'll
Yeah,
give you $1,000 to come and
yeah.
play to no one."
And there's an element of like, look, right, I won't ever say that this doesn't exist in like the grassroots to the parties of mid-level, right? You have to be able to like that's your education. That's your university degree. That's
Mm.
your, you have to play for free, or maybe you don't, but like you do have to kind of
You
like
have to
go,
play for free, bro.
I'm going to
100%.
volunteer. It's like going into your first
Yo,
internship and
you
all
have
of
to.
these things. And like all of these things are part and part of it, right? Every DJ that's got to the top has started there, right? And that's all part of it. But then, like, if you want to skip into the PDF and we'll talk about the 6 steps, because I think we could be here for a while, the 6 steps.
Yeah, we've got identity, community, data, distribution, partnerships, and revenue. We've got
Yeah.
half an
So I'll
we
introduce that.
yeah, yeah,
I'll
go for it,
introduce
bro.
this, right? We'll go through them one by one and we'll go through it, right?
Let's
There's a
do it.
book by Daniel Priestley that talks about building influence in the niche that you live in, right? That
Mhm.
book has inspired me no end. I want to write that version of the book, but instead of building influence in the music industry, I want to go how to build an audience in the music industry. That's my end goal. If you
Nice.
put this podcast, we can refund back to this on December the 4th. By next ADE, I want a book or
Nice.
I want to have written it so I can take it to ADE and like have it. That's my goal, right? So the 6 steps of this book, audience, breaking down the word audience into 6 words. Identity is number one, right? Everyone's working that out. And building an audience is building your identity, right? So if I was to go, and I know this is a really top analogy, but Fred again, what was the first thing you go and Fred again, right? And I'll answer that for you. It's, oh, he's the guy that does the piano set on Instagram every time he does on YouTube, every time he does a new album. Or let's go Hot Since 82. Oh, he's the guy that does the pirate ship on YouTube.
Yeah,
And I'd
yeah,
be,
I see what
yeah,
you mean. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right? You have to have something. And I'm not, when I talk about identity, of course, there's personal brand, there's what you wear, there's are you wearing a cap when you DJ, or you Max Dean and wear sunglasses when you DJ. He wasn't wearing sunglasses when he DJed when he was 18. He's just developed that. It's become
Yeah.
part of him, right? But Fred again, every time he releases a new album, does that new album on the piano. Now, not every artist can do that. Fair. But that's his. That's his identity. Hot Since 82, that pirate ship is not free. Right?
Yeah.
That cost him a bomb, right?
Yeah.
That's enough to say, but he's doing it because he knows that that's the thing now. People expect him to do a pirate ship every year now. Now,
Mm.
these guys are 15, 20 years in. So if you're starting and you're trying to build an identity, I break it down like one, if you put Fleur Shaw and AJ Cristal next to each other, do they wear the same clothes? Are they going to become friends because they make similar music, they like the same interests, and they've got a similar education of where they come from?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you got that, who is the person for anyone watching this? Who is your person?
Mm.
If you put George and Cameron next together at Trackstack, you can see that one's very outgoing and wants to go and travel the world. One's a family man.
Yeah.
But you can put them next to each other and you can build a company. I could find someone and go, right, you and me are going to build Unfiltered. Then I need a different skill to me. I don't care about
Yeah.
the rest. I care about what can they bring to my company. So if
Mm.
you're a DJ and you're starting out and go, me and you are going to DJ together, we're going to become the biggest brand. We're going to become the next Martinez brothers. Craig and Grant of us too, their identity when I helped them build it was stand next to each other.
I saw
Sit down.
some of the
Sit down
content,
next to each
you know.
other, stand next to each other. So if you've got your two suitcases in an airport, you can stand next to each other. In a train station, you can stand next to each other. In a hotel, you can stand next to each other. You can also sit down next to each other, and that can become your personal brand. Because there's only one way to take a photo. There's only a couple of ways to pose for a photo.
Mm.
It's to sit down and stand up.
Yeah.
All you've got to do is pick your location.
Yeah.
You can build a
Location.
personal brand out of that, right? So identity, location are massively linked. If you live in Lincoln in the UK and you're thinking it's a shit all around here, why would I build an identity in Lincoln? Well, move to Manchester then.
Yeah.
Go and stand outside the what used to be the Hacienda. Go stand on Store Street. This street is where everything changed for me, which is what my identity is. My
Mm.
identity is Manchester. I'm not from there. I'm from an hour away, but that city is in me.
Bro, it created me. I fully
It
resonate with
created
that,
me.
bro. 100%.
So everyone resonates it. There's a reason why Chicago House, Detroit Techno, all of this, Manchester this, the Manchester era, right?
Yeah.
They are identities. They're part of
Yeah.
us.
The
So
Warehouse
go and
Project,
find
bro.
yours. Go and find yours. So that's identity in a nutshell, right?
Nice.
You need to build one where how you speak about it and where you stand. So I've got a guy in my Unfiltered program that lives 15 minutes away from Heathrow. He's
Mm.
on the flight path. He's seen flights come into Heathrow his entire life. We've changed every single track of his collection, his unreleased collection, to things that to do with flights and planes.
Nice.
An EP is now called Flight Path,
Mm.
whereas that could have been called anything before, any random name that you can think of. You can build an identity by living next to Fifth Heathrow and calling your tracks things that are linked to planes,
Mm.
right? Such an easy way to build an identity because everything he does personal brand wise, which we're building, go stand, do you know why you can go on viewpoints where you can see planes
Yeah,
take off?
yeah, yeah,
Go stand next to there for your press shots.
yeah. Yeah. That's an
Simple step.
interesting. That's an
There's
in,
a really simple step there.
yeah. That's an
And if you can do
interesting.
that, and everybody has their own version of that,
Mm.
right? Mine is I love rave locations. So if you look at my Instagram, I'm under bridges, I'm on pathways, I'm in areas that I think wouldn't be sick if a rave took place here.
Under a
Everyone's got
bridge.
those locations.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's where all the best raves take place. And I love symmetry. So my identity is I love electronic music and I love symmetry. So where do the best raves take place? Warehouses. What are
Yeah.
warehouses? Symmetrical.
Yeah.
In size, in pillars, in windows, in the way that the poles come down the ceilings. That's my brain. Train stations are exactly the same.
Yeah.
Tunnels are exactly the same. Wouldn't it be sick if raves could take place in train stations?
That'd
Just
be
saying.
fire. Even
Do you know what I mean?
a tunnel rave would be
Tunnels.
sick. So
Exactly.
sick.
So that's my thing. My identity is stand in my content where the best locations that feel like me. I can stand under a bridge and I can stand in exactly between four pillars. And then you've got depth, which is the secret to photography, right? So
So
that's identity.
yeah. And then the community component. So
So,
you know who you are, you're embracing your identity. I think people
well,
should do it.
the community aspect comes back to the never-ending hotel. Step into your
Hmm.
first room. You've just stepped into your first
Okay,
community,
yep. Yep.
right? The never-ending hotel is a bunch of communities, which is what the music scene is. The music scene is a bunch of communities. Solid Groove's community in LA is different to Solid Groove's community in London. You can go between them if you can afford the flights, right? But actually, communities could actually be me and three mates who are learning how to produce music. Maybe we're part of Trackstack, maybe we're learning, maybe we're part of a community inside Trackstack Studio, and you're in a community. Your first step is I'm learning how to build a community, and maybe that's super serious is community,
Hmm.
right? You're learning your first next Instagram followers are there, your next collaborators are there, maybe your future DJ partner or your back-to-back partner is in there, right? It's a very simple step. 0 to 1,000 followers. My biggest advice is join communities.
Mm.
Join a Sympho, join a Trackstack, join a Studio Orbit, join a Fader Pro. Go and do those, and then literally bounce between them, find which one you like, which is exactly the
Mm.
same room analogy. You
Nice.
can then get to a point where you build your own record label, build your own event brand, and you can build your own community. That can be a WhatsApp community, 1,000 people in there, first tickets go there.
Nice.
You're part
Okay.
of something, right? Do you know what I mean? It's part of being part of something. Community is building your own or stepping into someone else's.
Yeah.
And there's thousands of them. So that's community. 0 to 1,000 followers. Go from if you're at 60 followers and you're just starting, go join a music community, get to 100 followers by following 40 people in there. Say hello to
Yeah.
them, drop some music to them. What do you think of this idea? There's your first 50 followers. There's your first 100 followers. There's your first 1,000 followers,
Yeah.
right? Depending on every communities can also just be three people.
Hmm.
Me, us two, we're going to start a brand. That's us. 15 years, and you all of a sudden get Mason Collective,
Yeah.
right? Just to
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
use it to break it down, right? So that's community. The next step is um,
Data.
data. So when you have an audience, right, there are male or females. Very simple step. If you've got an 80% male audience, maybe you're a female artist watching this, and you've got an 80% male audience and you'd like more females, start a community for female producers.
The sick idea. People could,
Then you
yeah.
can bring 200 people into your community that then all of a sudden you've got 70-30%. You've just improved your audience because you want more females. Start the community, build data. So male and female, right, is a very, very easy place to start with data. If you're promoting a party and you've got a 90% male ticket list, maybe they're the people buying the tickets for their girlfriends. Or
Yeah.
maybe
Okay.
there's groups of four, right? But when I used to work for promoters, I used to think two things. How do I target to males and how do I target to females? Males might be your favorite DJ. It's Enzo Siragusa, and he's your favorite DJ, right? Ticket sold. Females like to see big crowd pictures, and they like to see females smiling because it makes them feel like they're coming to an event and there's females going to be there. They're going to feel safe.
Yeah.
Are promoters thinking like that when it comes to their marketing?
Fuck no.
Maybe, maybe not, right? But there is a reason why most promoters are using females on their Instagram posts. One, better aesthetic. Two, it makes them appeals to females because
Yeah.
you know that males are
Safety.
going to come, right? There's so just thinking like that, right? Data's also what city do they live in?
Hmm.
What's my number one stream city in Spotify, and am I being booked there? If I'm big in Spain, do I need a Spanish agent before I need an English agent?
Yeah.
That's data. It's in your brain. It's physically there for you, right? You might have a song that pops off in Spain, or you might go, I want to make Afro House, and I'm going to use a really Spanish speaking vocal. That's going to appeal more to Spain
Yeah.
than the UK, right? So you can get a Spanish artist to do the vocalist, and all of a sudden you've gone, right, I live in London, but I really want to grow in Spain.
Hmm.
What are you going to do? Get a Spanish vocalist or remix a Spanish speaking song and make it your
Mm.
genre,
Mm.
right? You can make an Afro house track and make it tech house, right? So, but then also you live in London or you live in Manchester. How do I grow in the second biggest city, the biggest city, right? Let's collaborate with someone in London or let's collaborate with someone in Manchester.
Mm.
Really like that guy's music, really like that group's music. I'm going to drop them a DM going, I really want to grow my audience in Manchester, lads. I've never been booked there. I've been booked in every other city in the UK, but I've never been booked to Manchester. I'd love to play for you guys in the future. Are you interested in making a track? That's data
Yeah.
because you're identifying where you want to grow. I want to grow in Manchester and London. Where are the majority of the shows?
Manchester, London.
Manchester and London.
Yeah.
That's a mindset change. So data is literally looking at everything you got in front of you. You've built the community. You understand what your identity is. Those are the people I like. That's the brands I like. Let's go grow in that city. And people don't do that. So I'll give you this and you can clip this. There's a video online with the guy, VP of Atlantic Records, and he talks about growing 21 pilots. If you
Hmm.
think of the map of the US, you might not know where Ohio is. They're from Columbus, Ohio. I'm
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
butchering, right? But it's in the middle of the UK. It's in the middle of the US. Or, if you can say there's a middle of the US, it's in the middle somewhere. Drawing map, it's in the middle. New York's east and LA's
Hmm.
west. How many gigs have you got to go? And how many states have you got to go to get from Columbus to New York?
Gradually, yeah, I see what you mean.
Right. So if you
Yeah.
look at that, it's actually an 8 hour drive and it's actually pretty straight. But the next state, I think, is Philadelphia. If you're Atlantic Records and you just signed a band from Columbus, Ohio, where are you putting their music on the radio next?
Yeah, Philadelphia.
Philadelphia.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Why? Because the end goal is Madison Square Garden. That's data.
Yeah.
Building an audience across the state, building an audience across the country. If you live in Leeds and you've got Fabric as your end goal, how do you build down the country?
Yeah, Manchester.
Manchester,
Yeah.
Sheffield, Birmingham, maybe Cambridge or Oxford or something like that, or maybe like whatever. And then you've got to go London. How do you headline Fabric? You've got to go and do all of those other cities before you even get
Mm.
close to Fabric. That's data,
Yeah.
and it's identifying where you want to grow.
Nice. And then
Someone's distribution,
distribution, correct?
right?
Yes.
I'm going to break your distribution down to three things. And people don't think it like this, right? Especially people at DIY at the beginning, but you need these things. Distribution is music distribution, label distribution, and content distribution.
Okay.
No one ever thinks about content distribution until you work with a marketer or a manager, right? So music distribution is no matter what level that you are at as a music artist, you always have to send your music out to people.
Hmm.
Always,
100%.
right? Top hip hop artists are sending their music to Pharrell and going, "What do you think of this, mate?" Or, I'm sure they don't call Pharrell mate, but homie, whatever it is. But like, do you know what I mean? It's like, what do you think of this?
There's always levels to it.
Always levels to it. So if you're at that bottom one, you've got a batch of 20 tracks, you've been working hard, you're sending it through Trackstack, that's music distribution.
Hmm.
Music distribution is also posting music to your SoundCloud, posting music to your Spotify, posting music to your Bandcamp, etc. like that. There's levels to distribution, right? One is sending a WhatsApp to your mate, what do you think of this for feedback. One is joining Trackstack and or joining Synfo and getting your track feedback from a professional.
Hmm.
That's music distribution, right? You have to do it at every single level. It never stops. It's something you have to do every single day for the next 25 years,
Yeah.
right? From sending emails to sending demos to sending it to produce, sending it to get mastered, all of those fit into music distribution. Then there's label distribution, which is where a lot of people are like, well, I've signed to a label, that's your job. And yeah, it is, but you also need to be doing music distribution your side to make
Yeah.
music distribution on label side work. So
Mm.
those are next to each other, right? The artist has 70% of the audience, the label has 70% of the distribution, right? Or maybe 90% of distribution, depending where you're at. That's Spotify pitching. That's music on YouTube at the right time. That's getting your music remixed, getting it mastered, getting it sent out to radio, working with a PR company, working with all of these things. That's label distribution. It's all to do with sending a file. That's literally that, right? You're sending a file around the internet or through WhatsApp or Instagram like that, or you're giving a USB to someone. On the basics thing, music distribution and label distribution sit next to each other.
Hmm.
One cannot live without the other, right? There's publishing companies that are getting your music onto Netflix, and there's publishing people where your song is just on Love Island or you're being synced or whatever it is. There's so
Yeah.
many levels to the music distribution. The more you can understand about it, I'm not saying that you have to do it. The more you can understand about it, the better chances of your career being successful.
Yeah. It's
right?
leveraging it 100%.
So one of my things with saying how do you want to go full time DIY, right? You've got more success of learning label distribution and going working for a publishing company than you have being a plumber and spending 90 hours a month learning how to make beats.
Mm.
Straight up, if you're working in the music industry, you have a better chance of being successful in the music industry than you do being a plumber.
Yeah. This,
So learn the skills.
yeah. Be
Do
in the
you?
industry. Be in the industry with even just working with Trackstack is like the amount of people that amount of relationships and connections I've made, and just insights I've learned from people on the team, and like speaking to experts, speaking to making content. All the content on Trackstack is made by me, and this requires me to think how to serve the aspiring artists.
Yeah.
So like, what are the pain points? Um,
And
yeah,
look at all the
and
research you're doing, right? A lot of the researchers, I've just done an hour in a podcast with Andrew. I'm going to take all of those best bits and then it make Trackstack look.
I'm trying
Trackstack's a
to.
learning experts.
I'm trying to take notes while I'm trying to do this, and I'm like, fuck, I'll take the notes later. I'll have to
Yeah,
rewatch it and take the notes. But
rewatch it. But
yeah,
like, those are the things, right? And one of the things that is written in the workshop at the very beginning with the never-ending hotel that I didn't touch on is everyone's probably going to watch this and scream how.
yeah.
The mindset change is who.
Mm.
I didn't ever think working in the music industry was like, how am I going to do this? The easy
Mm.
answer was I live in Stoke-on-Trent. I've got two options, Manchester and London in the UK or Ibiza. I chose Ibiza. And then when I got to Ibiza, I was like, right, who? And I didn't know who was.
Yeah.
There's no answer to that. You just got to go and get in the room and find them. I was very, very lucky that Who walked into Space Ibiza for the first time, spoke to an American guy at the bar because I was on my own, and he was like, "Hey, you're wearing a white t-shirt to enter."
Oh
And you wore
shit.
black. I had to go to. But it
Yeah.
started a conversation with an American guy. He turned out to be the editor of Pulse Radio.
Nice. And actually, you can't make that shit up, bro.
You can't make that shit up, man. You've just got to have the balls to book the one-way flight.
Yeah.
Bro, yeah, that's
Shout out to
right.
Chandler if he ever watches this. If we clip this, shout out to Chandler.
Yeah.
He was my Who. He was my first Who.
I
And,
resonate with
I
that.
used to read Ibiza Spotlight religiously. I went to Ibiza with the goal of I want to work for Ibiza Spotlight. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't know who I'm going to meet to do it, but that's what I'm going to do. 2 years later, I was working in the social team
Oh yeah.
because I met Who, and it just so happened that Chandler was best friends of all of them. What are the chances of that? But
Nice.
that's what happens when you're brave enough to make a decision, right? So those are the two things of distribution. We're going to go deep on the next one, right? You can ask your
Partners
questions.
is it partnerships?
No, so content distribution, because you already
Content
forgot about
distribution.
it, right?
Yeah.
Content distribution, right? It's taking a podcast like this and clipping it,
Hmm.
but then not just clipping it onto Instagram into a carousel. 20 TikToks,
Fuck. Okay.
right? Because there's an hour and a half there's going to be an hour and a half of content here, right? But that's 10 for me, five for you, maybe some collaborator posts on Instagram. Maybe we clip it up to YouTube, maybe we put the full thing on YouTube, maybe we put the full audio on SoundCloud, maybe we put the full audio on Spotify.
Hmm.
That's content distribution. So for a DJ in that terms, it's you're more likely to do a 60-minute mix, which people don't do anymore for some reason, right? 60-minute mix on audio SoundCloud, right, is useless because it's one carousel of Instagram profiles, right? If you
Hmm.
don't record yourself from front on or side on doing that DJ mix, no content distribution. You've got a SoundCloud audio file
Yeah. It's not. Yeah.
and one Instagram file, one Instagram post out of it. You've spent 90 minutes, 2 days preparing for this mix, and you've not physically recorded yourself. Where's your content distribution?
I'm doing one of those next Friday.
Right.
Yeah. That's
Go into a room. That's why these studios like Pirate Studios and all of these are
yeah.
becoming so useful in the UK. Go in there and film your mix. Book the studio out. Spend the money. Book the studio and get the front on content.
Yeah.
It's
The
a
vi-
start. It's not going to change your life and it's not going to make you a DJ overnight, but it's a start. And then learn some basic video skills or use an AI platform. Clip them.
Mm.
And your first 20 TikToks can be literally you DJing because everyone's first 20 TikToks now are learning how to produce.
Yeah.
They don't post because they don't think their music's good enough.
A lot of people miss. I heard James Hype talk about this at ADE on like obviously he's like really big. He's invested a lot into social media. He was talking about um content for music and content for DJing. Like people
Yeah,
just think I'm making beats. It's like you well, most
yeah.
people know, they know how to DJ and they DJ and they start making music. Like do both.
And
Like
then
you
they
can't do
and then they
both.
can be completely disown that they can DJ.
Yeah, it's
It's
like
because like one thing that you can clip this bit as well. One thing that really annoys me about DJ setups when they're first starting is they face walls. They stick a Kallax against a wall and then they DJ in front of it.
yeah,
Flip it round, man.
yeah.
Put
Play
it on some wheels.
pretend you played to a crap, right? Amount of times I've mixed like pretending like I'm playing. I used to put like in the basement in the Fallowfield house that I used to live in. We had a basement and we just fucking put a TV in front of it, like my ex-girlfriend's dad's TV, and we just I HDMI'd it into like just this like Bali drone footage. And I imagine I was playing in this like La Brisa in Bali. That's like one of my
Yeah,
dreams is to play there. I'm like I'm fucking there. I'm just in this
yeah.
basement on my own.
There's an artist called Valaris, Nathan, right, who has done some really amazing things since COVID, had music signed to John Summit's label and everything like that. I went to a studio once and he was playing Camel Fat set from the Creamfields in the Steel Yard.
Nice.
And he was playing it on mute and then playing his music over the top of it. He was
Oh yeah.
visualizing it,
Oh yeah.
manifest, and
Yeah.
like that's a really
So
effective thing to do. Is like have a TV, like put your music over a set that you want to play one day.
yeah. Yeah.
Does my music fit with this crowd?
It's
It's a
so
really good
powerful.
manifestation thing, yeah. So
So
yeah, that's
powerful.
content distribution, right? Content distribution is so underestimated, right? Because if you stream live on Twitch, your production, which is a guy called Maltby that I'm really good mates with at the moment, I really like what he's doing and I'm just literally waiting for him to break through, right? He's just streamed every day on Twitch for a month, got 6 to 10 viewers every time. Didn't stop him doing it because he knew he was doing something. And now he's got that much recordings that he can clip that up and go, here's all my bit, these are all the beats that I did. And then like Fred again, and I know I talk about Fred again a lot, but he's Twitch streaming every night before a show.
Wow. I actually
It's
didn't.
it's insane.
I never came across Fred again, like through his music. Ironically, I came across him back when I was in the UK in 2023. I was trying to like figure out ways to make money, and one of my offers was like helping coaches grow on social media, like
Mm.
through video editing and marketing. So I was having to use TikTok. I never used it before, and I made an account on there, and I just saw him everywhere on TikTok. Just like and not just like it was just videos of like him taking voice notes and then making beats out of them and then like
Making
tracks
beats, yeah.
and then everyone's reacting to him and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
I'm just conscious of time, Andrew. I've
yeah.
got to balance in 15 minutes.
Right, we'll go through
So
the next two.
we've got
So
partnerships and revenue.
partnerships. Partnerships and revenue, they're linked,
Okay, fine.
right? But if you get to the point where you have identity, you've got a community, you've got an audience, you've got data, you've got everything in place, right? The next step between, which is where most DJs don't get to, or when they do get to, they underestimate this. The reason why you have a manager, the reason why you have an agent is because you need to create partnerships. The partnership that you have with artist to NGE and to management company, right? Prime Culture, is because they have the ability to create partnerships. There's a partnership, there's a triangle. It's artist, agent, and manager on your side, and then there's promoter, festival, and club. That's a partnership. That's a handshake. There's a money exchange. We have 15,000 email addresses in London. Oh, fuck, we can sell at any venue in the city with that.
Mm.
So then all of a sudden you're going from 93 for East and going, let's have a go at Coco, right? There's a partnership there. We'll bring you 15,000 email addresses. We've got a brand that's 6 years old. We've been selling out London for 5, 6 years. We want to go bigger now. It's 5 years of our party. We want to come to your venue. Okay, cool. What can you offer us? Or what can we offer you? Right? That's when the business side comes in, right? But the partnership at a very basic level is me and you are going to become a DJ. Zero. We're going to do 4 hours a week in this studio. We're going to rent it out, or I'm going to come to your house. You're going to come to my house, and we're going to become a partnership. That's a very basic partnership, right?
My AirPods have died. I can
Positive. Right?
hear you. It's okay. It's okay.
So like that's your basic partnership. Then that can become, we're going to go and book a club out. Okay, you want £1,000 hire fee? Cool. Let's put that down as deposit. We want 10% bar back. If you make 12 grand in the bar, we want that back. Or we'll put that into the next party. That's a partnership. It's a deal. Are you good?
I'm just thinking because when you're talking, it's coming out of my laptop, so it'll be picked up by this, I guess. Like, with that, is that
Okay.
I'm gonna have to mute this. Uh, yeah. So I think the best thing to do here is um, let's wrap up with the partnerships and revenue, and then one closing thought just on based on this model, how someone who is approaching the DIY, like who wants to go full time and just try to use this approach,
hmm
if you could summarize that into like one sentence, like what you think someone, I know it's difficult, but just like,
Yeah, yeah. I can
me
probably do a paragraph.
yeah, mentally, because I think it's there's a lot of information, but I think people can resonate with the feeling. So it's like if you can give someone like a paragraph or a sentence that will give them a feeling of like, okay, that this is possible, or this is
Yeah,
the way. I'll let you just do that. I'm going to mute this.
cool. So revenue is literally what you should be looking at from the very beginning to the very top. The revenue is Bandcamp releases or can give you £1.99 per thing that goes into your bank. Also, revenue is there are four steps to revenue, and you can see that in the normal real world, and you can see it in the music industry, right? Record labels based on like the number one keyword when it comes to volume revenue is volume. There is a record label which compares to units, how many vinyl sales, how many streams, how many SoundCloud plays, anything like that. And an artist's revenue is based on relationship of audience with depth, right? I'm going to bring you 1,000 fans, and they're going to hopefully going to buy and stream my record 100,000 times, right? That's 10%. That's 10 plays per fan, right? So that's a revenue model. There's something for free, which is the most impactful thing that you can ever have in your business as a DJ. It's a mix series, it's a Spotify playlist, it's a YouTube series. The Hot Since 82 Pirate Ship is something for free. It costs him a lot of money, so don't get that twisted, right? Something for free is you doing something for free for your audience, but it costs you money because it might bring you money in the future, right? If you want to buy a perfume bottle, the first thing a perfume shop will do is, hey, do you want to sample it? Right? That's your mixes. That's your YouTube channel. That's your Spotify playlist. That's whatever, right? You're getting a sample of it, right? The next step is lower tier products. So to a DJ, you're not thinking lower tier products ever. But to a record label, it's track. Every single track is a lower tier product. Every time it's sold, it creates volume. If you sell 1,000 tracks, you make however much money is, and that's split between artist, label, and vocalist and distribution company, right? There's basic revenue. Lower tier products, you can have everything. One of these is one. One of these is one. So merch. Merch is a lower tier product. You can sell a £10 sock or a £6 sock and a £90 hoodie. You can also sell a £280 hoodie and a £500 jacket, right? They're all lower tier products with different levels of volume. Then there's your core offer. Your core offer is your DJ booking or your ticket. So if you're a promoter, your core offer is a ticket. It goes from early bird to VIP. £10 to £80, right? Festival ticket goes from £100 to £280. VIP, normal ticket, right? And then there's the franchise model. And now I won't go into this, but the franchise model is basically taking a business that exists and going, right, I would like to bring you and me to America, please.
Like what
And
Circle Locos, like what Circle Loco does.
Circle Loco, exactly. It's a brand partnership, right? Circle Loco take fee. You bring Circle Loco to Thailand. Circle Loco has the event. It's branded, and you bring these artists, and then people come. Franchise model. So when you've got the event brand, when you've built the record label, someone will come along and partner with you. And we would like to bring your event to our club, please. Or you're going on tour, and we would like to bring you to 12 states in America. That's what Live Nation is.
Beautiful, bro. There's a lot to unpack here. I'm going to go through this properly when I edit this, and yeah, there's a lot. I'm listening. I'm like,
Yeah.
I need to write this down. I need to write this down. But I'm going to take notes on all of this, bro. I'll let you go in a second. But yeah,
So
just
final thing you said to me,
yeah.
right? You want a revenue thing, right?
So
Break down your audience. It's not your follower count. Your follower count is the number of maximum people that know about you. That's it. It can grow, and of course you want it to grow because that's the thing. But start with identity, work out who you are and where you want to go. Work out who you want to go with, and then work out is that we're going to move to Manchester or anything like that. Work that out. That's where you will build an audience. If it's going to be in your local town, cool. Are we going bigger or are we going to stay here? That's your step one. In step one, second one is build a community. 3 people, a WhatsApp group. 3 people, we're sending music to each other. 3 people, we're going to start something together and we're going to become the next Mason Collective. Just identify that, break that down, and then build a real life community and an online one. Online one can be in Discord, Telegram, Instagram, whatever, right? The next step is look at data. We are 3 guys, all white kids from that such and such. Our target audience is this. Identify that. Start to look at partnerships and look at distribution and take it seriously. As I said, 3 kinds of distribution, learn them, and then consistently do them. When you get to a certain point, start thinking partnerships because you need them. They are essential to grow because they are essential to make money. That 6 steps is building an audience, and then music is literally built into all of them. I'm not saying music's not important. It's the most important thing. But when you've got it, to build an audience, you need to focus on those 6 things.
I like the what you just said then about the music being the most important, but like I think it's very easy for like artists to just be naive. Like I have made a track, I'm going to send it on Trackstack. That's it. Like
That's
I
it.
mean, I've been there before, bro, and I think what I really like about your approach is you're kind of bridging the gap between how like the expectation of the 10 to 15, 20 years and what that looks like and all the pieces in between. Like
Yeah.
focus on the craft, focus on the beats, focus on the music, focus on the DJing. But like also you can't just rely on that nowadays anyway. Maybe 20, 30, 10, 20 years ago you could just like make sick beats and fucking DJ and
Yeah.
it'd be fire. But
And that's where the communication and leadership skills come from. To build an audience, you need those 2 things. Those 2 things allow you to get more data. We're going to lead, we're going to collect, we're going to talk to our audience, and we're going to tell them why we're doing a party here or why we're starting this brand. And then never stop telling that story. Because I started, as I said at the beginning, I started by just going to Ibiza. I didn't have a clue I'd be here. And I'm so small in this scene, so small. I'm not like I talk about the key cards, finding people with the key cards, because those are the people you create partnerships with. Those are the
yeah.
people that bring you revenue. Those are the people that can bring data. And if you've got an audience, those people will come to you. If you haven't, you got to go into a different room and find someone else. That's it.